Hello everyone. Our today's topic is heart. Today's topic is heart, and this is the second lecture on the heart. In this lecture, I will take the right atrium of the heart. I will take right atrium of the heart. Before we start the right atrium, see this figure. You are familiar with this figure. This is the front view of the heart. This is the front view of the heart. This is the right atrium. This projected part of right atrium is called auricle of right atrium. In the right atrium, two vena cava open, from above superior vena cava and from below inferior vena cava is open. This is the right ventricle. When the right ventricle contracts, it pumps blood into pulmonary trunk. This is the auricle of left atrium, major part of left atrium. You know that it is situated on the back side of the heart. And this is the left ventricle. This is the left ventricle. When the left ventricle contracts, it pumps blood into the aorta. This is the ascending aorta, and this is the part of arch of aorta. You know that this is the right border of the heart. This is the left border of the heart. This is lower border of the heart. This is the apex of heart. And this is the upper border of the heart. Now see this figure. During the development, the heart, it is in form of the tube, and this tube is called cardiac tube. With further development in the cardiac tube, constrictions are developed, and due to the constriction, the tube is divided into 5 parts. This part is called sinus venosus. This part is called primitive atrium. This part is called primitive ventricle. This part is called bulbus cordis. And this part is called truncus arteriosus. So tube is divided, cardiac tube is divided during the development into 5 parts: sinus venosus, primitive atrium, primitive ventricle, bulbus cordis, and truncus arteriosus. The sinus venosus, it is divided into 2 halves, right half and left half. Right half is called right horn of sinus venosus, right horn of sinus venosus, and left part is called left horn of sinus venosus. Now we come to right atrium. You know that right atrium, it is the receiving chamber of the heart. It receives the venous blood from all the body and pump it into right ventricle through the right atrioventricular opening. This projected part of the right atrium, it is called auricle of the right atrium. And this auricle of the right atrium, it overlaps the upper part of the right ventricle and the root of ascending aorta. So auricle overlaps the upper part of the right ventricle, and it is also overlap the root of the ascending aorta. In the right atrium, 2 veins are open. At upper end, superior vena cava is open, and at the inferior end, inferior vena cava is open. Now, superior vena cava carries the venous blood to the right atrium from the head and neck, brain, upper limb and thorax. Head and neck, brain, upper limb and thorax. Roughly we can say that the superior vena cava carries the venous blood roughly above the diaphragm of the body. Above the diaphragm, it receives the venous blood. Now, in lower part, this is the inferior vena cava, and inferior vena cava carries the venous blood from the abdomen and the lower limb. We can say that the inferior vena cava carries the deoxygenated blood to the right atrium below the diaphragm from abdomen and from the lower limb. You know that right atrium, it takes part in formation of part of the upper border of the heart, wall of the right border of the heart. It is also form the part of anterior or sternocostal surface of heart. It is also form the part of the base of the heart. So right atrium take part in formation of base of the heart, It forms the part of the anterior or sternocostal surface of the heart. It forms the part of the upper border of heart, and it alone forms the right border of the heart. Alone forms the right border of the heart. Suppose we want to open the right atrium and see what is about the interior of the right atrium. So to open the right atrium, you put the incision on the right atrium, and this incision is put with the help of the knife, and this incision is running along with the upper border. It is also follow the right anterior coronary sulcus up to the lower end of right border. So due to this incision, triangular portion of the right atrium is mapped out, and you remove this triangular portion of right atrium like this. So right atrium is open, and this is the anterior part of the right atrium, this is the posterior part of the right atrium. It is open like this by incision. This is the anterior part and this is the posterior part. So this is the anterior part of the right atrium, this is the posterior part of the right atrium. Both the parts are separated from one another by means of ridge. And this ridge, it is called crista terminalis. It is called crista terminalis. So crista terminalis, it is a ridge extending from the opening of superior vena cava to the opening of inferior vena cava, and it follows the right border. Now, the crista terminalis on the anterior surface of the right atrium, it produces the shallow groove. And this shallow groove running along with the right border. This shallow groove running along the right border on the anterior surface of right atrium, and this groove is called sulcus terminalis. This ridge is called crista terminalis, and groove which is produced by crista terminalis, it is called sulcus terminalis. So sulcus terminalis, it is start at near the opening of superior vena cava, follow the right border and going up to the opening of inferior vena cava. In the upper part of sulcus terminalis, near the opening of superior vena cava, SA node is present. SA node, it is a part of conductive system of the heart. SA node, it is a part of conductive system of the heart, and about the conductive system I will tell you later on. So full name of SA node is sinoatrial node. Full name is sinoatrial node, situated in the upper part of crista terminalis near the opening of superior vena cava, and this sinoatrial node, it is also known as the pacemaker of the heart. And it generates the cardiac impulses at the rate of 70 to 80 per minute. And these impulses, they are responsible for the beating of the heart. So this crista terminalis divide the right interior of right atrium into two parts, anterior part and posterior part. Anterior part is rough because in the anterior part the muscular ridges are present. Posterior part is smooth, having no muscular ridges. Now the anterior part of right atrium, it is called pectinate part. And posterior part, it is called sinus venerum. Now anterior part, it is developed from primitive atrium. And the posterior part or sinus venerum, it is developed from the right horn of sinus venosus. So we can say that crista terminalis divide the interior of right atrium into anterior part and posterior part, or rough part and smooth part, or pectinate part and sinus venerum, or part developed from the primitive atrium and part developed from the right horn of sinus venosus. Now first we will see the anterior part. In the anterior part, the muscular ridges are there. and these muscular ridges, they are called musculopectinity. They are called musculopectinity. Because the crista terminalis and musculopectinity together resemble to the comb. Together resemble to the comb. And the Latin word for comb is a pecten. Latin word for comb is pecten, and that is why this part it is called pectineal part. Because the crista terminalis, it forms the handle of the comb, and the musculopectinity, they form the teeth of the comb. So together they are resemble to the comb in shape or pecten in shape, and that is why this part is called pectineal part. Now we come to the posterior part. In upper portion of posterior part, there is the opening of superior vena cava. And I told that superior vena cava carries the deoxygenated blood roughly above the diaphragm, from head and neck, from brain, upper limb, and the thorax. Now this opening of superior vena cava, it is not guarded by any valve. It is not guarded by any valve because it carries the blood into the right atrium, into the gravity direction, so it is not guarded by any valve. Now below the opening of superior vena cava, small projection is present, and this projection, it is called intravenous tubercle. It is called intravenous tubercle, and this intravenous tubercle, it is larger during the fetal life. Fetal life means when the baby is in the uterus of mother, it is called fetal life. So during fetal life, this intravenous tubercle is large, and it guides the blood of superior vena cava to the right atrioventricular opening. So blood of superior vena cava directly going into the right ventricle. So superior vena cava opening in the upper part, it is not guarded by any valve. Below the opening there is a intravenous tubercle. It is prominent during the fetal life, and it guides during the fetal life, it guides the blood of superior vena cava to the right ventricle through the right atrioventricular opening. In lower posterior part, there is a opening of inferior vena cava. There is a opening of inferior vena cava. This opening of inferior vena cava, it is guarded by a semilunar valve. And this valve, it is called valve of inferior vena cava. This valve is called valve of inferior vena cava. This valve of inferior vena cava having a two border, free border and attached border. So attached border, it is attached to the inner wall of the inferior vena cava. Attached border is attached to the inner wall of inferior vena cava, and free border is free. Meeting point of two border, meeting point is called cornu. This is called right cornu, this is called left cornu. So right cornu, it is continuous with the lower end of crista terminalis. Right cornu is continuous with the lower end of crista terminalis. This seminal valve of inferior vena cava, it is prominent during the fetal life. And it is a rudimentary in adult. Why it is a prominent in the inferior vena, during the fetal life? Why it is rudimentary in adult? That I will tell you later on. Again, inferior vena cava opening in the lower part or lower end of posterior part. It carries the deoxygenated blood roughly below the diaphragm. It is guarded by a seminal valve having a attached border and free border. Attached border is attached to the wall of inferior vena cava. Free border is free, and meeting point of both border is called cornu. This is called right cornu. This is called left cornu. And right cornu, it is continuous with the lower end of crista terminalis. And this valve of inferior vena cava is prominent during the fetal life and rudimentary in the adult. Now, above the opening of inferior vena cava, there is a depression. And this depression, it is called fossa ovalis. fossa ovalis, and above and front, fossa ovalis is bounded by a ridge. Fossa ovalis is bounded by a ridge, and this ridge, it is called limbus fossa ovalis. So depression is called fossa ovalis, and the ridge in above and front of it, it is called limbus fossa ovalis. And lower end of limbus fossa ovalis, it is continuous with the left cornu of wall of inferior vena cava. It is continuous with the left cornu of wall of inferior vena cava. Now, during the fetal life, at the place of fossa ovalis, one opening is present. One opening is present, and this opening is called foramen ovale. This opening is called foramen ovale. Now, this opening is communicate the right atrium. We connect the right atrium with the left atrium. Right atrium with the left atrium. See here, actually we normally think that right atrium and left atrium, they are lying parallel to one another. Actually it is not like this. See this is the right atrium, this is the left atrium. In between the two atrium there is a wall is there, and this wall is called interatrial septum. This wall is called interatrial septum. So, and this is the interatrial septum. So left atrium, it is not exactly situated on the right side, on the left side of the right atrium, but is situated also behind the right atrium. So left atrium is situated behind the right atrium, and also left to the right atrium. So during the fetal life, lungs are inactive. During the fetal life, lungs are inactive. So there is no sense to send the blood to lung for purification, because during the fetal life the baby takes the respiration from the mother. So lungs are inactive. So during the fetal life, the wall of inferior vena cava is a prominent, and this prominent wall of inferior vena cava, it guides the blood of inferior vena cava through the foramen ovale directly to the left atrium. So blood through the foramen ovale directly from the right atrium going to the left atrium. Here in interatrial septum, here the opening is present. Now during the fetal life, the opening foramen ovale, it is guarded by two septum. Septum is wall. It is guarded by two septum, septum primum and septum secundum. Septum primum and septum secundum. Suppose this is the septum primum and this is the septum secundum. So they are situated like this. This is the septum primum and this is septum secundum. This is the pre-margin of septum secundum. It is like this. So pre-margin of septum secundum, it is above and front of the septum primum. When the blood is coming into right atrium from inferior vena cava, so pressure in the right atrium is increased. This increased pressure of right atrium, it pushes the septum primum and open the opening. So blood from the right atrium, it is going directly to the left atrium. When the pressure in the left atrium increases, it pushes back the septum primum to its position, so opening is closed. After birth, the lungs of newborn, they become active. So there is no use of foramen ovale. So septum primum and septum secundum, they fuse. Septum primum form the fossa ovalis, and pre-margin of septum secundum, it form the limbus fossa ovalis. Septum primum form the fossa ovalis, and pre-margin of septum secundum form the limbus fossa ovalis. Now, below and front of the posterior part, this is the opening of right atrioventricular opening. And through the right atrioventricular opening, right atrium communicates with the right ventricle. This opening is surrounded by fibrous ring. And this opening is capable to receive the tip of 3 fingers. We can pass the tip of 3 fingers through this opening. This is the large size of the opening. And this opening is guarded by 3 valves. This opening is guarded by a 3 valve. See here in diagram, this is the fibrous ring surround the opening. Three valves are there. This is the anterior valve. This is called inferior or posterior valve. And this is called medial or septal valve. So anterior valve, posterior or inferior valve, and medial or septal valve. About the detail of the valve, I will tell you at the time of right ventricle. So today you only remember tricuspid opening. That is a communicating door between the right atrium and right ventricle. Is surrounded by fibrous ring. It guarded by 3 valve, anterior, posterior, inferior, medial or septal, and it capable to receive the tip of the 3 finger. Now, between the opening of inferior vena cava and right atrioventricular opening, there is one smaller opening is present, and this is the smaller opening. It is the opening of coronary sinus. You know that coronary sinus, it is a vein of the heart, and it opens into the right atrium. It opens into the right atrium, and this opening of coronary sinus, it is guarded by semilunar valves. It is guarded by a semilunar valve, and the semilunar valve is called valve of coronary sinus. Semilunar valve is called valve of coronary sinus. When the right atrium is contract, at that time size of right atrium is reduced. At the same time, the size of the coronary opening is also reduced. So semilunar valve of coronary sinus is close the opening of coronary sinus. So blood is not going back to coronary sinus. In other words, you can say that blood is not regurgitated from the right atrium to the coronary sinus. Right atrium to the coronary sinus. Now, in the whole of the posterior part of the right atrium, many minute openings are present. Actually, this minute opening, they are present in all 4 chambers of the heart. In the right atrium, in the right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. But these openings are more on the right chamber, in the right chamber, right atrium, right ventricle, and the openings are less in comparison to right side into left atrium and left ventricle. It means that on the right side of the heart, the blood supply is more, and the left side, blood supply is comparatively less. So myocardial infarction, it is more common on the left side in comparison to right side. Myocardial infarction is more common on the left side in comparison to right side. And this minor opening, they are scattered throughout the right atrium. And this opening, they are called foramina venerum minimerum. They are called, small opening are called foramina venerum minimerum. And this opening, they are the opening of the small vein of the heart. They are the opening of the small vein of the heart, and name of the small vein, veni cordis minimi. Veni cordis minimi. So minute opening name is foramina venerum minimerum, and these are the opening of the minute vein of the heart, and that is called veni cordis minimi. Veni cordis minimi. So this is about the right atrium. Today's topic is over. Lecture is over.